because I cannot get past the sheer, completely unhinged absurdity of the 1991 PGA Championship at Crooked Stick. I mean, you have a 25-year-old rookie, right? A guy who was the ninth alternate.
Yeah.
Winning a major without playing a single practice round.
Not just winning it, though. I mean, he completely dismantled the longest course in major championship history at the time. And the timeline of how he even got to the first tee is just bizarre.
It's unbelievable.
He's sitting at home in Memphis, like, absolutely convinced he isn't playing. Then guys just start dropping out. He throws his clubs in the trunk, drives 10 hours straight through the night, and rolls into this cheap Residence Inn at like 2:30 in the morning.
Just exhausted, I'm sure.
Right. And he finds the message light blinking on his room phone.
The PGA is calling him at 2 in the morning to say, hey, Nick Price's wife just went into labor, so you got a 1.58 p.m. tee time. Just put yourself in those shoes for a second. Think about your own job. Imagine you wake up, roll out of a cheap motel bed, and just walk into the highest stakes presentation of your career with zero prep, having never even seen the building.
Yeah, and as a parting gift, Nick Price leaves him his elite caddy.
Oh, right, Squeaky.
Yep, Jeff Squeaky Medlin. Medlin has been walking this massive, sprawling course all week. He knows every blade of grass, the undulations of every green.
He's fully prepped.
Exactly. But when he looks at this rookie who hasn't even seen the first fairway, his entire strategic advice basically boils down to, kill it, John. Just kill it.
I am still hung up on that advice. Like, how is that a strategy? You look at modern athletes, the sports psychologists, the hyper-managed nutrition plans, the course mapping.
Right, the data.
Yeah, the data. You can't just kill it at a major championship. But his diet that week. Jack Daniels, McDonald's, and Diet Coke.
A breakfast of champions.
Literally. He didn't even have a closing sponsor. He's just a guy from Arkansas. And then Sunday morning, he opens his locker, and there's a handwritten note from his childhood idol, Jack Nicklaus, just saying, go get him, John.
It's like a movie script.
Yeah.
And we've been looking through this massive stack of biographies, old PGA Tour data, and Daly's own interviews to sort of figure out how this guy shattered the entire paradigm of professional sports.
He really did.
Because golf at that time, and I mean largely still today, was dominated by this elitist country club mentality. It's pristine, it's calculated. What he did was prove that pure, unrefined, chaotic talent can just bulldoze right through the establishment's front door.
It is literally like waking up hungover, walking into a graduate-level quantum physics final that you never studied for, and accidentally setting the grading curve for the entire class.
That is the perfect way to put it.
But you have this physical engine running on sugar, nicotine, and pure torque. Let's look at the biomechanics of this, because the how is defying everything I understand about human anatomy.
Yeah, it shouldn't work.
How do you physically overpower the best golfers on the planet when your swing violates every fundamental rule of the game?
Well, you have to look at how that swing was engineered in the first place. I mean, he wasn't at some high-end golf academy. He essentially taught himself to play using old Jack Nicklaus illustrations he found in Golf Digest.
Wait, just from magazine pictures?
Yeah. He's taking these flat 2D drawings and trying to reverse engineer a complex athletic movement on a Little League baseball field, just aiming for the different bases.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to picture a 6-year-old swinging the adult McGregor clubs his dad bought him.
Which is wild in itself.
Right. His dad offered to cut the steel shafts down so they'd fit him, but he refused. How does a 6-year-old swinging adult steel clubs not just result in a shattered spine or torn ligaments?
The miracle it didn't.
You're telling me no coach ever stepped in to stop this?
Well, they tried later on, but the damage, or rather, I guess the miracle, was already done. When you're 6 years old swinging a full-size men's driver, the club head is so heavy, it's going to physically drag your arms all the way back.
Oh, because of the momentum.
Exactly. Your body has to adapt to the momentum. That's why he developed that massive, famous overswing. Most pros, they stop their backswing when the club is parallel to the ground.
Right.
Daly's flexibility allowed the club head to drop so far past parallel, it practically hit the ground behind his left heel.
I've seen the tape. It's wild. His left arm is completely bent. His torso is twisted like a rubber band. It genuinely looks like a car crash waiting to happen.
But the biomechanical torque he generated from that was unprecedented. Because no pristine golf academy ever got their hands on him at age 12 to, fix that wild swing. He kept that raw, unadulterated power.
They would have ruined him.
Oh, the establishment would have shortened his backswing and completely neutered him. Instead, he maintained this hyper-flexible, fluid motion that allowed him to dominate the TGA Tour driving distance stats for over a decade.
Dominating, like not even close.
Yeah, he was hitting at 300 yards when the tour average was hovering around 260.
So you have this mechanical anomaly, but then I look at the fuel he's putting into this machine, and I'm genuinely baffled. He's smoking 2 packs a day.
At least.
The numbers in these biographies are staggering. Like 14,600 Marlboro Lights a year.
Which is just, wow.
514 gallons of Diet Coke. And downing 15 to 20 packs of peanut M&Ms during a single round of golf. How does the body process that?
It's a lot of sugar.
You're out in the heat for 5 hours. How does the metabolic state function on pure sugar, caffeine, and nicotine?
It's essentially a continuous drip of artificial stimulants, keeping the nervous system in a state of hyper-alertness. The nicotine and caffeine are vasoconstrictors, right? They're jacking up his heart rate and masking the physical fatigue.
So he doesn't even feel tired.
Exactly. He's running purely on adrenaline and cortisol. The high sugar intake from the M&Ms provides immediate, explosive bursts of glucose to the muscles, which he burns off instantly with that massive swing.
It's like a high-performance muscle car, but instead of premium racing fuel, it somehow runs perfectly on bathtub moonshine and bacon grease.
Yeah.
It shouldn't work. The engine should seize up on the back nine.
Mechanically, though, the engine didn't seize. His body could handle the physical torque. But when you run a human being at that level of raw, unfiltered intensity, the system eventually boils over.
It has to.
The breakdown wasn't physical. It was the mental hard drive that overheated.
And that leads straight into the dark side of this extreme personality. I mean, the drinking wasn't just casual post-round beers. He talks about ordering triple Jack Daniels on the rock.
No water.
Right, no water, 3 at a time.
Perfect.
Downing them while the waitress is still standing at the table, passing out with his eyes open, having his stomach pumped in college.
Just extreme behavior.
Running 17 red lights in a row in South Africa. He was clearly self-medicating a profound internal chaos.
And the sports machine, the corporate sponsors, they couldn't handle the liability of a superstar who might literally self-destruct on national television.
Obviously not.
So Ely Callaway, the founder of Callaway Golf, really tried to step in and save him in 1997. Callaway pays off $1.7 million of Daly's gambling debt, just wipes it clean, and gives him a massive contract with a $1.2 million base salary. But the conditions are absolute. 0 drinking, 0 gambling.
Okay, I have to stop you there. A publicly traded company just strokes a check for $1.7 million to clear gambling debt.
Yep.
For a guy known to go entirely off the rails, how does a corporate board justify that level of liability?
Because John Daly moved the needle. I mean, he sold drivers, the crowds loved him, the television ratings spiked when he was on the leaderboard. Callaway knew the ROI was there if they could just stabilize the asset.
Stabilize the asset. That's exactly what they tried to do.
Yeah.
The sports machine essentially tried to force a corporate software update onto his brain.
Right.
Like, here, install this patch, stop drinking, be a good sanitized brand ambassador. So he stops drinking. And to cope with the sudden withdrawal of his primary coping mechanism, doctors put him on a heavy cocktail of antidepressants.
Really heavy cocktail.
Prozac, Paxil, lithium, they are just throwing neurochemistry at the wall to see what sticks.
And the physical reaction is devastating.
Yeah.
I can't just forcefully remove the alcohol, pump the brain full of SSRIs and mood stabilizers, and expect the system to run smoothly.
The accounts from this period are awful. He's shaking so violently he has to wear 2 jackets on a warm day in Vancouver. And he can barely hold the golf club. His face is visibly bloated. He says he feels completely emotionally dead. He stands on the first tee where he used to feel this massive surge of electric adrenaline, and he feels absolutely nothing. Just a medicated zombie.
Which introduces a critical psychological concept called cross-addiction. When Callaway forced him to stop drinking, Daly didn't actually resolve the underlying compulsions or the core anxiety.
The root cause was still there.
Exactly. The brain's dopamine receptors are still screaming for that extreme stimulus. So when you remove the alcohol, the brain just funnels that exact same extreme intensity into a new channel.
And if you've ever tried to use sheer willpower to break a bad habit, you know exactly what happened next. The hardware completely rejected the corporate software update.
Total system failure.
The system crashed. He literally looks in the mirror one day and makes a conscious, deliberate decision. He decides he would rather drink a 5th of Jack Daniels a day and be his authentic, chaotic self than be a wealthy, medicated zombie who can't feel the club in his hands.
He walks away. He chooses the chaos.
I agree.
And the financial and personal fallout of that choice is staggering. I mean, the numbers here stop being eccentric and start becoming genuinely catastrophic.
You're talking about the $55 million hole. $55 million. That is what he estimates he lost at casinos over a 15-year period.
It's hard to even fathom.
It is impossible to wrap your head around that much cash just vanishing.
Well, you have to understand the mechanics of how he was gambling. He wasn't sitting at a blackjack table playing $1,000 hands. He was playing high-stakes slot machines.
Let's look at the Vegas disaster in 2005 because this perfectly encapsulates the madness. He plays the WGC American Express Championship in San Francisco.
Right.
He takes Tiger Woods to a playoff. He loses, but he still takes home a massive $750,000 payday. He should be thrilled. Most people would celebrate.
Go out to a nice dinner.
Right. Instead, he flies straight to the win in Las Vegas. He sits down at a $5,000 slot machine.
Oh, man.
$5,000 a pull. That is a used car every 3 seconds. And he loses $600,000 in 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
That is fucking insane. Who loses $600,000 in an hour and a half? It makes my stomach physically hurt just saying the number.
It's nauseating.
But he's not done. He bounces over to Bally's, gets another massive line of credit, goes back and forth between casinos, and by the end of the night, he has lost a total of $1.65 million in 5 hours.
But listen to how he describes playing those high-stakes slots, though. He says it's like being completely alone on a cross-country drive.
Just zoning out.
Yeah. He doesn't hear the bells. He doesn't see the flashing lights at the casino. He is in a total vacuum. It is a pure stimulus response loop that requires zero social interaction.
It's exactly like his golf game. Total isolation. He's just pushing a button, chasing that massive localized adrenaline spike, and completely destroying everything else around him in the process.
Wow, yeah.
It is the purest form of cross-addiction. He traded the Jack Daniels for a $5,000 a pull slot machine.
And the tragic irony of John Daly is that on the golf course, he proudly calls himself a grinder. A guy who refuses to quit, who scratches for every par, even when he's completely out of rhythm.
He fights for it.
He is relentless in his professional survival. But in his personal life, he is an absolute master of rapid, devastating self-sabotage.
You see that self-sabotage perfectly mirrored in his marriages, too. I mean, he jokes about it all the time. He even wrote a country song called All My Exes Wear Rolexes.
Which is pretty catchy, actually.
It is, but the reality is a parade of absolute, unfiltered train wrecks. I mean, look at his second wife, Betty.
The deception in that relationship is almost hard to believe.
You meet a woman, you fall in love, you get married in Vegas. Okay, standard impulse control issues for a guy like Daly. But over the next 6 weeks, the layers of lies just start peeling back.
Just one after another.
He finds out she lied about her age. She wasn't 29, she was nearly 40. She had hidden a 13-year-old son from him. And the absolute kicker, she was actually still legally married to her second husband when she tied the knot with him.
It's a breathtaking level of chaos to invite into your life.
And it doesn't stop. His fourth wife, Sherry, ends up in federal prison.
Oh, yeah, 5 months.
5 months in federal prison for structuring financial transactions for an illegal drug and gambling operation. Holy shit. You cannot write fiction this messy because a publisher would tell you it's too unrealistic. The man's life is a constant screaming tornado.
It really is. But amidst all of this, the $55 million incinerated in casinos, the trashed hotel rooms, the multiple stints in rehab, the divorces, the sheer unadulterated chaos, there's a profound question.
Why do people still love him?
Exactly. Why did the fans never abandon him? The crowds were chanting, "Kill it, Big John," from day one, and they never stopped, no matter how many times he publicly hit rock bottom.
It's terrifying to think about a guy who can blow $1.65 million in 5 hours without blinking. You'd think he's completely heartless, entirely selfish.
Right, you'd assume that.
But then you look at what he did with his very first real paycheck back in 1991, straight out of that crooked stick victory.
He wins the tournament. He's a 25-year-old kid who was basically broke a week prior.
And the very first thing he does, he takes $30,000 of his winnings and secretly sets up a college fund for the 2 daughters of a fan who had been struck and killed by lightning at the tournament earlier that week.
That's incredible.
He didn't call a press conference. He didn't use it as a PR shield. He didn't even meet those girls until 14 years later. He just did it because, in his impulsive, chaotic way, his immediate instinct was to help someone who was hurting.
His mother had a quote that the University of Arkansas actually ended up putting above the door of their football locker room. Champions come from the heart.
I love that.
And that perfectly encapsulates the paradox of John Daly. His physical mechanics are deeply flawed. His mind is restless. His personal life is a complete disaster zone. But his heart is completely exposed.
Yeah.
He gives the public everything, the ugly, the pathetic, and the beautiful, without any filter whatsoever.
In today's sports landscape, you have these hyper-sanitized, PR-trained, media-coached athletes who have an entire team of handlers making sure they never say a single wrong word or show a single authentic flaw. Is John Daly the last truly relatable, unapologetically broken anti-hero we'll ever see in professional sports?